Test one, two, three. Test one, two, three. Okay, I've got 701, 1900 for those of you on the 24-hour clock, military time. This is Thursday, the 22nd of May, um, 2025. And let me make sure that we're recording. Does anybody hear me?
Yes,
Oh, great. Who was that?
that's
Rosa?
me, Rosa. Yes.
Rosa, welcome to the class. Welcome to the Zoom session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I can get my
Um,
camera now.
okay, it's up to you. There's no requirement there, but I certainly appreciate that. Ginny, thank you for the chat. I did see it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm probably not going to do much on chat. Um, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of an overview of the course as a whole, and then the first week. And I'm going to take probably about 10 or 15 minutes to do that. And then I want to open it up for any questions that you three might have, or anybody else joining us. This will probably go about 30 minutes. I usually get kicked off of Zoom at about the 7:35 or 7:40 minute mark for some reason, and that's probably just because they don't want to make sure I don't talk too much. Anyway, I'm trying to share my screen. Can you all see the screen? It should be the Moodle page for the course.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. So again, this is Thursday, May 22nd. This is week one of a 6-week course for LDR 300, University of Mount Olive. My name is Russ Jamison. I'm the instructor for this course. And if you are not in the right place, then this is time you can depart if you want. I usually tell a story years ago when I was doing undergraduate work. I was never the last person in class, but I usually wasn't the first. And one day I was hurrying up to class. This was a business strategies and policies course. It was a capstone course for my undergraduate work. And I wasn't the last person in. There was a person behind me who was carrying a whole lot of papers, and she was obviously in a rush and a little bit harried, as we all are if we're late to a class. And I got in, sat down. She came in right behind me, so at least I again wasn't the last. And she started walking around the class, and she started handing out a paper and was speaking Spanish, uh, mostly. I mean, very fluently, and came up to me and asked me how was I doing if I remember my junior high Spanish very well. To which I kind of just nodded my head. Um, and then she went to another student and did the same thing, and the third, and then finally to the fourth. She asked the gentleman this question in Spanish, and he said, "Look," he goes, "I am not. I don't speak Spanish, and I'm not sure why we're talking Spanish in this course. So either I'm in the wrong place or you are." And the young lady looked with a very shocked expression on her face and said, "This isn't Spanish 301?" And to which we replied, "No, this is Business Strategies and Policies 495. Your class is down the hallway in another building." And at which point she took back all the papers, packed them up, and left. So obviously was the instructor for Spanish 301. Anyway, I tell that story to make a point, which is if you're not in the right place, by all means, don't be embarrassed. Go ahead and get up and get to where you need to be. All right. Okay. So this is again LDR 300. I'm showing you the Moodle page, which is our course delivery system. Most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with Moodle, so I won't go into the ins and outs of it. Suffice it to say, if there is a issue with Moodle itself, as far as signing in or it's not delivering, then you'll want to hit the support section for that, because I'm not your Moodle expert. I can get my way around it, but I have no ability to go in and change passwords or grant access or things of that nature. The support desk is very responsive, I found, and usually can get to the crux of the issue very fast. We started yesterday, 21 May, and we will go to Tuesday, 1 July. Your text, The Leadership Experience by Richard Daft. This is a 8th edition. It's a very complete textbook. I indicate here to read, notate, highlight if you've got a printed copy. And I suggest hold on to the text, because you will find this material of use in all your future LDR courses if you take any. It certainly will help you in all other courses as well. It's packed full of good information. And I certainly think it's a good addition to your professional library, because it'll serve you well over your few years in your careers and even in your personal life. I put an announcement section right underneath that. This is where you can go in and check every login I ask. You will find this is where I post assignment instructions. I will post the final paper rubric, grading rubric that I will use probably about week 4. And there are some other things from time to time that I would like to share with you that I'll place here in the announcement section. So good place to check and read. In those announcements, if it's the written assignments that are required, it's the same information that you'll find in the Moodle pages. Maybe a little slight difference, but nothing significant. I think all 3 of you have hit the course acknowledgement. If you have not and you're seeing this video, and I think there's probably about 3 or 4 of you left that have not yet, it's not a problem. I ask you to do it before 23:59, 24-hour clock, or 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, the 23rd May. I used to put midnight, and years ago I learned my lesson on that, because if I said midnight, there was confusion as to whether I meant midnight tonight or midnight Friday. So that's why 23:59. So a minute before midnight on Friday night is when I ask that you have this done. We take attendance every week. That's on Sundays. I do that. That's a requirement for the University of Mount Olive, all instructors. And this is a short synopsis of attendance and participation, what it means. I ask that you take a quick look at that and just make sure that you understand what we mean by attendance. Attendance means that you have made let's say it's not as well, let's call it substantial submission of work into the course. Just simply accessing Moodle and logging on and accessing Moodle does not count for attendance. It means that you've participated in some way. You've made a forum discussion, you've taken the quiz, you've submitted your weekly homework. If there's an issue on attendance, I think if you can let me know that beforehand, that's great. That way we can work it out. Otherwise, if there's nothing submitted into Moodle and no work has been indicated, then that's going to be marked as an absence. And that gets obviously straight to the academic director. There is no late for this course because it's online. There are some timelines that I post. That's more so that you've got a framework to work under. And again, if there's an issue on meeting the timeline, meeting a suspense date, if you will, I ask that you please let me know beforehand so I can work with you. Otherwise, not have to chase you down or assume something has happened. Okay, so you've got a whole bunch of tiles on here, Moodle, and they start with start here, works its all the way down into course summary. There's a couple things that may not show up on your screen exactly like mine, uh, and that's because those are more affiliated towards me, your instructor, and what I have to report into the assistant dean, and nothing that needs to concern or worry you. The first four is start, syllabus, student lounge, which you have all found because I think you all posted in the introduce yourself section. Thank you for that. That was mighty fine introductions, and I appreciate your sharing. Gives me a chance and gives your fellow students a chance to put a face with a name, so to speak. In other words, find a little bit about you as we go through the course. Tech support gives you the help desk information for University of Mount Olive again, or situated onto aspects of Moodle. If it's a course-related question or an issue, that's certainly what I ask that you contact me in the Start Here section, and then on the right, I don't have it extended, but in the upper right-hand corner, you've got a left-leaning arrow, which is open block drawer. That opens up some more information, and you've got Meet the Professor information with my contact info. I ask on the contact info that if it's course related and it's a normal business, if you will, to please communicate through the course shell or email. If it's and I will respond within an appropriate amount of time. I normally try to respond within 24 hours in that regard. If it is of an urgent nature or it's an emergency, certainly contact me on my cell phone. I answer it. It's usually with me 24 hours a day. Now, if you call at 0300 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I may be a little cranky, but I will answer. I ask that you just use that cell phone more for, again, urgent, or if it's something that is borderline on an emergency. Okay, so the rest of the tiles are 1 through 6. They're labeled modules, but think of these a week 1 through 6. So the work that you'll find for week 1 would be found under Module 1, Foundations of Leadership. And I'll click on that here in just a minute. And it goes all the way through week 6. In the Start Here section, again, I ask that you read it carefully. This is where you'll find an overview and syllabus if you've not already seen it. It gives you what the outcomes are for the course, what you can expect, and then the assessments, which is how we render the grade. Okay, so again, the grade is based on your work. It's how we give you primarily feedback to your work, obviously, is a grade. And this is obviously designed to check your ability on how well you've mastered the information presented, which is ultimately what the course is about. We deliver that information, obviously, through a text. And how well you've read that is usually indicated in your responses and your ability to submit the summaries, which are based on exercises within the text, and then obviously the weekly quizzes and ultimately the final paper. Should be no surprises here. And you will note that this course is on a 1,010 point scale. This is something that the University of Mount Olive went to sometime last year, and it's sectioned or weighted out. So if you think of just even on a percentage basis, your weekly discussion forum is about 10% of your grade. Your summary reports are 30%, weekly quizzes 30%, and then that final paper is a 30%. So you can understand where obviously the primary aspect of your time should be focused. Certainly don't miss that paper. That is huge. In the course acknowledgement, that's worth 10 points or 1%, if you will. So that's probably the easiest 10 points of the course. The way I grade is is that if you have submitted work, I will grade that work. If you don't submit the work, then that's a 0. And that's the only way you would fail this course, is if you have failed to submit any work at all. That's not to say I'm an easy grader. I think I'm fair. And we could certainly talk about that as time goes on, as you get to know me and I get to know you. Should be no surprises up front. And I also will give you feedback in the form of a response to what you post. And just additional grading policies, making sure that you understand. University of Mount Olive policy is no makeups, no grade improvement projects, no extra credit. I don't curve. Legwork is not accepted. Now, with all that said, University of Mount Olive does, and the dean has indicated that things do happen. There are sometimes events that are exigencies, in other words, happen out of our control. And so I will work with you on that. And that is mostly designed for those things, act of God nature. Severe weather has gone through. We had a hurricane a few years ago that knocked out, obviously, a lot of people's ability to do work. There was people, active duty military, first responders, to include power linemen who responded last year to, obviously, the hurricane in western North Carolina. And a few of them were members of the National Guard. So count that as a deployment. And that was obviously an event that was not in their control. And so worked with them. This is a 6-week course, so it goes by fairly quickly. So it's important to stay up on top of your requirements and make sure that you can meet your timelines. And again, if there's an issue, let's have a one-on-one conversation, if you will. And there is, of course, my bio, philosophy, how I approach, and assorted information. Okay. Since you did the acknowledgement, you've read the syllabus. I won't go into that. But again, the syllabus is there. And under that icon, and then into Student Lounge. I do note on Student Lounge, this is another place you can communicate, ask for help for them. This is a great place to ask for routine, non-emergency. I check it from time to time. And if you have a question, chances are your fellow students, and most, if not all, have the same question. So feel free to share it on this forum, and I will respond. I've also given you space, called it Student Coffee House, where you can communicate with your fellow students on any subject matter, and it's all your own efforts. I will not regularly monitor this. I'll occasionally check in just to make sure that, as it says here, view to ensure propriety. Again, this is online, and ask everybody to be respectful of each other, as we would if we were in a classroom environment. Zoom information, like we're doing tonight, I will post the video in this section, weekly office hour Zoom sessions, shared video files. And those will be in the past. So you'll see the week 1 when we're done here pop within about an hour or so. So you can go back and see it. Word about the Zoom session. There is no requirement. This is not mandatory. This is more your option to do it. There's no grade affixed to this. I do enjoy having the chance to talk to you and meet you. And this is, again, your opportunity to ask questions and me to just provide a little bit more information outside of the normal framework of an online course. Okay, I said 15 minutes, and now I've gone 20, so I'm going to bust what I said earlier. I'm going to take just 5 more minutes just to go through real fast week 1, if that's okay with everybody. Okay, Module 1, Foundations of Leadership. It tells you what the module is about and what the learning objectives are for that particular module. That's what MLO stands for. These are related to your student learning objectives, so you see how everything meshes and nests. I put in there what I ask you to read, in this case, chapters 1 and 2 of your text, and what to accomplish. Discussion forum, your leadership practice, know yourself exercises 1.3 and 2.2. Obviously, that's found in chapter 1 and that's found in chapter 2, and then a weekly quiz. And I give you some the PowerPoint files from the publisher of the text. In this case, PowerPoint for week 1 and 2, or PowerPoint files for chapters 1 and 2, in case you want a little additional information or a different means of delivery that's outside of your text. I do caution you, make sure you read your text, because that has information in it to better understand the materials. But some students have found the PowerPoints to be of assistance. Okay, discussion forum. So by tomorrow at 23:59, I ask that each of you post on the discussion forum thread your answers to 2 discussion questions. What, in your view, is the difference between the terms management and leadership? And the second question, why is leadership considered both an art and a science? You will find these questions are related to your text. I do not ask these questions as a scavenger hunt. These require a little bit of thought process to take what you've read in the text and then form your response. This is where I find out what you have to say, which is what I'm most interested in. So you will find these terms in your text, and if you want to define those terms in your response and then provide your answer on the difference, that's a perfect way to do it. I give you, generally speaking, a word count. That's more designed to give you an idea of how big the response, or how much of a response I'm after. I don't grade based on words, or I don't grade based on pages. If you can answer these questions in a page and hit all the points, then that's perfect. If it takes you, 5 pages or 5,000 words, then that's fine too, as long as what you have to say is related to the question and it gets to the response. So I hope that makes some sense. In this case, about 3 to 5 sentences, 150 words is baseline. That's minimum. So please feel free to provide more if so desired, or if you need more effort to answer. And then once you made your post, I ask that you individually comment on your fellow learners, at minimum 2 other student responses, and please try to have that done before Sunday, 23:59. And this will carry on through the rest of the course. All right, basically the homework is your Know Yourself summary report. This is basically a paragraph or page per exercise. Again, I'm not going to grade you based on words, but I do want you to try to answer the questions, and essentially more providing the following. You're going to take these exercises 1.3 and 2.2, give you the page numbers for your text, and do the exercise. In your summary report, I will ask you to summarize the results of the exercise. You don't need to show me all your work. I don't need you to replicate your answers to those exercises specifically in your summary report. Just summarize the results. I've seen the exercise. I know, how they're scored. I just ask you to just provide a summary. Then I ask you to discuss the results of the exercise in your view of how they apply to what you learn information or concepts-wise in the text. And then I want you to do some personal reflection. Talk to me how this exercise and what you learned in that chapter of that text will enhance your ability to lead others, and how that will help you create value in your career. Now, sometimes this gets a little tough to answer because you're not sure maybe what you want to do once you do get your degree. So you could base that on a future employment goal of yours, or you can base it on your current employment, or you can base this on your own situation. In other words, how you lead in your own family, your church, your organization that you belong to. So it's really more of how you want to answer these. I just ask you strive for some consistency in your viewpoint and how you approach this. Ultimately, these exercises will help you frame your final paper. And I'll discuss that more in detail at a later session. I won't get into it tonight. But the information on the paper is in the instructions and in the middle page if you want to take a look ahead. Okay, again, so many sentences, so many words, just to give you a feel for it. And we'll go through it and figure each other out as time goes on. So don't stress too much on this. That's the thing I do need to emphasize here is that this is a great course. This is a chance for you to find out about you and find information on leadership. It's a good text, I think. It provides the models, the principles, the theories, and these are excellent tools, if you will, in which to fill your tool bag. We'll call that a leadership tool bag. If we're not having fun, something's wrong. So let's hang in there with it. Don't stress on this, and it will be fine. Okay, week one quiz. It's a format that's delivered on Moodle. The quiz will open on Friday, tomorrow, about noon. I'll release the questions. You have until Tuesday, 23:59 again, in order to take the quiz. You may use your text. You may use your notes. I ask that you not use each other. In other words, do your own work and do not collaborate with other students. There is a time limit on the quiz, and you get one attempt. In other words, you need to take the quiz in one shot. You're not able to save and go back to it. So please, when you do take the quiz, be in a place where you can focus your attention and do it. I give you an hour to take the quiz. It shouldn't take that if you've read the material and you're familiar with it. And you'll find it to be generally true, false, and best answer type of question framework. There's no essay involved in these quizzes. Okay, I took way too much time and I apologize. Do I have any questions on what I provided so far?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, great, Jenny. Did you have something you wanted to offer or a funny joke to
I
tell
just,
or
I was just gonna say you did really great. I'm on the road driving back from Florida back to Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm in the car right now.
oh, mighty fine. I hope that was a pleasure trip and it ended too short for you. I know it's always tough to get back home, but it's always good.
Yes, I'm ready to be back home in my own bed.
Fair enough. Well, certainly drive safe, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And nobody has any questions.
I just about the practice, the exercises for 1.3, know yourself. So pretty much you want us to go over and answer all those questions and just say how we feel about it and just do the exercise. Just was a little
Yeah.
bit.
So the exercise on 1.3
Uh-huh.
asks you, are you people skills, dealing with authority and networking, and whether um, it essentially wants to know whether it's mostly false or mostly true on the questions. In other
Okay.
words, an example of one of the questions is, other people describe me as very good with people. In other words, I play well with others.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about yourself, is that mostly true or mostly false in your opinion, and check it off.
Right.
When you go through this, you're going to answer all those questions
Uh-huh.
and then tally your mostly truths. And on these exercises, they mostly all work that way. In other words, you're going to provide responses to the questions, and then you're going to total up your score, if you will.
Okay.
And then you need to read the instructions carefully because we're going to see if we're playing basketball or we're playing golf. In other words, sometimes a high number is great, like in basketball. Sometimes a high number isn't so great, like in golf. I don't know if you play golf.
Okay.
So,
Well, not really.
okay. So,
I know.
as you know, a high score golf means you had to hit the ball too many times. Anyway,
Okay.
so when you get into scoring and interpretation, it tells you what to do, and it then gives you essentially a score, and it tells you what that score means. In other words, in 1.3, if you score very low on mostly trues, then it says you may end up dangerously close to derailment. You need to do some more in-depth self-assessment, and you need to find ways to expand your interpersonal skills. Okay. Well, in your summary, that's really what I'm after. In other words, I don't want to know all the answers to each of these. What are there? 12, 16 questions, 12. I don't need to know the answers to each and every one. I don't need you to put that in your summary. What I do want to see is you took, the exercise and developed a score of whatever. And this is what the text tells me the score means.
Okay.
And then provide me how this relates to the concepts in the text for that chapter. In other words, hey, so, find a couple things in each chapter that really jump out at you, something that really, really excites you or, really gave you some keen insight into leadership. And then basically apply that, if you will. If there was a model or a term, they're a principle that they use that jumped out at you and that related to the exercise, feel free to bring that into your response. You're basically kind of telling me, so what? I made you do this exercise, so I need you to tell me, so what? In other words, what did you get out of it? And if you agree with it, that's great. Tell me, I agree with these findings. I found it, to be insightful, et cetera. That's fine. Or tell me, I don't agree with it. I don't think it, really captured what I am and why. In other words, expand on it. And then how can you use this information? In other words, what does this do to help you to lead others and help you in your career or in your future? Does that make any sense?
Yes. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So again, not a scavenger hunt, and I'm not making it you to do the exercise just to give you busy work and make it painful. And it's not something where you're easily going to go in and hunt and peck for the right answer. It's just what I want you to think through, because that's really certainly I want you to learn the principles and what we cover, and those are important. And I want to make sure that you know those. But beyond that, I think I really want to know what you think, and have our discussions and our formats based on that.
Okay.
If that helps any.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. And again, it's going to take a week or two for us to kind of figure it out. You'll figure out what I'm looking for, and I'll find out how you write and how you frame your responses. And like I said, if we're just regurgitating the text to each other, then I don't know if that really gets us anywhere. Asking me a question, you wouldn't want me to just read out of the text, but provide maybe some framework or some perspective. On the other hand, or conversely, you all are enrolled into college. You know what you're doing, and I know you can read and write, and I know you can find answers. What I want to try to get out is what do we think about those, and where are we at? Because in leadership, you'll learn in chapter 2, we talk about contingency leadership, which is based on the situation. What I may use to solve that issue on a leadership challenge may not be what you use, and that's fine. That's in large measure what leadership is about. So, in a lot of ways, technically there is no right answer, if you will, on a lot of these. There is no right answer on the leadership exercises, the self-insight, because it's based on you. I need to be careful on that, right answer, wrong answer. But I think you get what I'm getting at. The big thing here is we want to know what's behind these theories and what's behind these principles, what's behind these tools. How do we use them? How can they be used? And best is certainly it's self-insight, and it's your time to learn about yourself. And I want to see that. But I also want you to take it a step further. I'm going to push your comfort zone a little bit and see how what you're answering can be used to help lead others. You'll find that in a couple discussion questions down the road, which are more oriented on how you led others and what happened to them more than what happened to you personally, if that makes any sense.
Thank you.
Okay. I didn't lose everybody, did I?
No.
All right. Again, I apologize for talking so much. I tend to do that, I guess. And so I'll, again, open it up. If not, we're probably going to get bounced out of our space here in about 3 minutes. And again, it's great having you all in class. I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with you. The 6 weeks goes by fast. I'll be quite frank. And so I don't have a problem with anybody working ahead if you need to. The information is in Moodle. Again, as you look at it, you could click on week 6, for example, and see exactly what the self-insight exercises are. In this case, 1. You could see what the discussion question is. Oh, okay, I made a mistake there. I got it listed twice. I'll go back and fix that. My apology. And here's the information on the leadership effectiveness paper. I'm showing this on the screen, Ginny, just in case. And it tells you how I want to see that paper constructed. So you got a feel for it. And again, we'll talk more about this paper in a couple weeks. And you can't get into the quiz questions because I haven't posted them yet for week 6. But so I don't have a problem with you working ahead. I do ask, don't get way too far ahead of the rest of the class because it's good to see everybody learn together and respond to each other. But if you need to, because something's coming up, I certainly will accommodate. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Ashley, did I scare you away? Are you going to stick with the course, or did I make you want to drop it?
I'm still here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mighty fine. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. In fact, I'll ask that of Rosa and Jenny as well. Everybody okay?
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right, good. Good. I'm glad to hear.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
good.
Great. Thank you. The reason I say that is I've already had a couple students drop the course, so that's always a little concerning for an instructor because I know there's other reasons why somebody's dropped, but you hope it's not because of something that you said or failed to do. So, all right. Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate your time and attention. And again, if there's no questions, I'm gonna let you go.
All right. Have a good night. Thank
All
you.
right. You do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.